Offensively, I think we have a good crew coming back. I'm kind of actually not concerned, extremely excited about the offensive line and some of our personnel. We have some playmakers. We lost certainly Dallas Baker and Chris and some good players, but I'm very excited about where we're at there. We just got done we just finished a week-long game planning session, preparation session, and when you have a quiet room on the offensive coaching staff, that means there's a lot of concerns. When you have a bunch of people talking and you got to settle them down, that means there's a lot of ideas because you have playmakers. The obvious concern is defense. And defense, I like our athleticism. I like the people. I have no idea how they're going to react when it gets real hard, and that's not good, potentially. Yeah, it'll be a little different. I'm not areas of concern. That's not really one of them. Breaking in Tim Tebow, that's actually, I kind of enjoy that. Well, he's not the backup. He's a candidate for the backup. We have three candidates, Brian Wagner, Johnny Brantley, and Cameron. Cameron has a little upper leg because he actually did pretty well in the spring, but he's not the backup. We would like to use two. How much the two plays depends on who that two is. If the two is a decent player, he'll play significantly, and we've tried to do that. Sometimes it works. If the two's not very good, then we got to keep Bill because we got to win games. Keyston Moore? Yeah. Oh, I love Keyston. Keyston's back. Keyston Moore started as a true. People forget this. He played his first snap. The first snap of the 05 season, Keyston Moore was our tailback, true freshman from Texas. Does not possess the 10.4, 10.5, 100-meter speed. He's not the flash. Probably will never be on a cover of Wheaties box or any of that. But if he protects the A gap and B gap in protection, and if he takes care of the ball and averages 5.5, he's a powerful running back, and I think he can do those things. And we need him to do that. I'd rather not say it like that. That was a long way of saying, or a long question. I have great respect for the SEC. I think something that gets overlooked, I'll just ask this question so it's fresh on my mind. I think the one element that gets a little overlooked is the quality of coordinators in this league. The schemes. It's sometimes you'll face, a scheme that you're like, that's not very hard to prepare for. And then other ones in this league, I'm very involved in the offense. Every Sunday you walk in there, and I think the schematic preparation that we have to prepare for is the best I've ever been around. So I think quality players and obviously excellent coaching in this conference. That doesn't mean there's not elsewhere. I think it's hard to beat the SEC in those two areas.
Because of the remarkable success you had early and great recruiting classes, it just seems to be rolling so good. You have to maybe you and your staff give a little extra effort to keep the players grounded, to understand that this just doesn't happen by putting on a jersey. This isn't going to automatically be like a little basketball team to keep the national championship. The guys have to kind of be kept in check as far as preventing them from just saying, hey, it's just what happens here.
For the first 8 seconds of that question, you sounded just like my wife. I had to look at you, make sure you weren't. You're not. Oh, you're. Thank God. Hey, I'm just kidding. Coaches have a tendency sometimes to look at the bad things, and the defense, we're short here, we're short there. Yes, we had a great recruiting class, and they're on campus right now. And as of right now, we feel like they're everything because their work ethic. Sometimes, we got this kid that runs a 4.4, and how did that 4.4 turn into a 4.7 in those 6 months? That's not happened, which is a real positive. So there is a lot of great things happening. The negative is there was transition 3 years ago, and our first recruiting class was subpar, and unfortunately that's our leaders right now. So We have 10 seniors, 10 juniors, and then a bunch of young players. If those 10 seniors and juniors can carry this team a little bit, that's going to make Florida football solid. We're not, I think USC, you look at USC, I don't know them very well. I know they work their tails off, and they're kind of everybody admires what they do. I do, because every year they're right here. They don't have to go out and sign 35 players like we had to do because they're way down in numbers and this and this. Our goal is at some point to be that program where you just kind of you put in juniors and sophomores. You're not always throwing freshmen in the mix. So there's a lot of work to be done. I think, I'm going to talk about this later, but I think how we're going to handle the hard, I don't have any idea. I like them. I mean, they're nice kids, and, they eat well, and they brush their teeth, and they do all the things you're supposed to do. But our first year at Florida, this is a great way to look. Our first year at Florida, we were not a very tough team at all. And how do you say that, Coach? Well, we lost 3 games on the road. We didn't really ever come back and win a game in the fourth quarter. And when you had to finish a game, we had a hard time to do that. That's how, if you ever want to evaluate toughness in a program, that's how you do it. You say, we're tough. Well, no, you're not, Coach. You didn't do this, this, and this. Winning on the road shows your stripes. You have to be a tough team. We were a very tough team last year. We were much better on the road than we were a year ago. Having the ability to finish a game, against Ohio State, we didn't punt them. For 9 minutes, we took the ball, and everybody watching that game said, you're not going to throw it. Well, I know we're not, because we had to run a clock out, and we finished the game. We did the same thing at Tennessee, same thing at Georgia. That's a tough team. How's this team going to handle the hard? I don't know. If it's like 2 years ago, we'll be very mediocre. If they handle it pretty good, I think we have a chance to be pretty good.
Last year, you talked about bringing Lou in, you talked about winning on the road.
Right.
Team toughness. You went up and visited with Coach Belichick. Now, as the defending national champions, who is it you look to for leadership this year? Any other coaches that you might want to visit?
Well, great resources just 2 blocks away, and actually 150 yards away from my house, and that's Billy Donovan. I think he had a little different set of circumstances. His was a group of players, everybody back. How does he maintain that sense? But I think he's as good as there's ever been. So I try to draw from him. How does he, he always makes a comment to me is once you lose that edge, once you kind of, I'm talking about edge as a sports writer, as a banker, if you lose that edge, you're mediocre. And there's no room for that. And so as a coach, we have to make sure we pass that on to our players that we cannot lose that edge. At this point in time, July 20, whatever it is, I can't tell you that if we do or no, if we have that edge. But that's our goal, is to forget the championships, don't play the game of football without a little bit of an edge. If you do that, you're going to fail. Really good football player. Do you remember the press conference after the game where I said, come on, Harv, let's go juice, and just, and he looks at me and, okay, coach, that's the way he is. He's a very, he's terrific. Comes from a great family. You can see exactly why he is. He's going to be one of the premier players in the country this year. We got to keep him healthy, get him right, but his work ethic, the edge, Derek Harvey's got that little chip on his shoulder. And if I get the other ones to play like that, we'll be good.